Hello, everyone. Metal Levite Alex here, and I'm here with the first of a brand new segment in my channel, which I'm gonna call Mecha Reviews. And I figured since it's another hobby of mine, I figured why not review finished stuff that I do for besides my gaming playthroughs. And yeah, the gist of this is reviewing mecha model kits that I build and I have quite the passion for. And in this case, I have here the RGZ-95C ReZEL Type C Defensor, which is a grunt mobile suit from Mobile Suit Gundam, specifically Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, which is one of my favorite entries in that franchise. And yeah, bit of a backstory. I really love mecha models, especially Gunpla and Zoids. And while I didn't really do that many as a kid, I did have a fondness for them. And having gotten more exposed to the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise over the years, I've really grown to appreciate it. And for the last couple of years, I've really taken a liking to it. And I figured, besides my gameplay playthroughs, why not, review the kits I finish, so I can give my own little perspective on them. And pardon my Harry Potter's basement of a room here. As you can see, I've got a bunch of kits up there. And you got the Sazabi, the Strike Noir. There's a Unicorn Gundam itself up there. The Freedom and a couple others. And some that I have stored away in boxes under my bed that I decide to remove from up there. So I figured I'd start off with one that I just completed. Now, I technically started this like many moons ago, like around my birthday, if not before, last November. But ever since I got my PlayStation 4 and started streaming, I guess you could say I just shelved it, and only just now finally having gotten a little tired and wanting a break from streaming, I figured why not finish putting this bad boy together. And so, like I said, this is the ReZEL Type C, one of several variants of it. And now, what makes this kit kind of special compared to the average mobile suit model is that it's a pretty varied in how it's built, and that you can build it not in one way. As you can, don't want to knock it over. As you can see, this is a kit that comes in two forms: A unit and B unit. A unit having like missile pods, and B unit having extra beam launchers on the wings. Me personally, I prefer having as many of what the models come with in one package. So I tried my best to make it an all-in-one. Originally, I was thinking of having all the missile pods on the wings, but I honestly liked the more aerodynamicness of the mega launchers. So I did like a mega launcher with the missile with the two smaller missile launchers, while also having the the big beam gut light rifles right here, which honestly I really love. That's like a personal favorite part of mine. And yeah, it's a master grade 1/100, so it's larger than your standard uh Gunpla model, which honestly I prefer. I prefer the larger sized ones, especially master grades, because there's more detail, way more detail. Like like in a lot of cases, there's inner frames in the legs and arms and the body, and not just a giant coffin of plastic that you just put together. That's like a shell, you know what I mean? And I like the detail too, honestly. Granted, compared to the high grades, there's a lot less of these, but they're still pretty worth building. And me personally, I'm not really out to build every mobile suit that exists. So, because there's a lot of stinkers out there that I just don't like from a design standpoint, and plenty others that I do like. And so I think the Master Grade is a happy balance, at least for my personal preference in terms of size, detail, as well as what mobile suits are available. Although there are some that I would like to see Bandai put into MG form, at least at some point. So how does it hold up? Well, it's a pretty, considering how much of a heavy weapons platform this thing is, it's pretty top heavy. So as you can see, if, for instance, if you took this standoff right here, that's propping it up on its ass, more or less, the whole thing would fall over. Thankfully, Bandai thought ahead and gave the model this prop to put there. It is made to also have an action base mounted under it, meaning you can perch it and make it look like it's flying or in the air. But honestly, I'm kind of cheap, so I prefer getting those only for certain mobile suits if I have to. And so far with that perch, it doesn't look like that's the case. And with the perch, so far it stands pretty well. It's actually surprisingly sturdy. The arms don't fall off; they stay pretty tucked in there, as well as a lot of the panels. I have not had much trouble with any of the panels, not fitting in there. There have been a few Gundam models in the past that I've built where the arms don't stay up, but thankfully this is one where they do stay in there and they're pretty sturdy. And it's pretty detailed too. A lot of vent coverings and parts and pieces. I don't think it's the most detailed gunpla I've ever seen in terms of markings and panel lines. It's pretty solid in terms of overall look, but it's still good enough to be comparable with other Master Grade suits of its kind, I think, compared to like some of the other actual Gundam types, which can get very, very detailed, if not in some cases perhaps a little over detailed, like the Freedom Gundam up there. And oh lord, did that take a lot of panel lining. But this one, not so much. It's kind of like the Unicorn Gundam with how a lot of the armor plates don't really have that much panel lining. But where it does make up for that is how much parts there are in this thing. With the actual body itself, it's not as complicated as I think it is with other suits. But it more than makes up with it with the amount of weapon attachments you have for it. It has its little extra gimmicks in here, and we all grew up with the term gimmick as being a negative connotation, but with Gunpla, it's kind of the opposite, because the more gimmicks, the merrier. It kind of gives it more flavor. For example, in the arms of the ReZEL, you have little compartments that holds, regular-sized beam sabers and little grenade bits in there. You got the shield, which doubles also as a cannon. And you have the beam saber piece, which also surprisingly in this case doubles as an effect part for the beam rifle, the regular one that I believe comes with all the other ReZEL type mobile suits that are Master Grade. And there's also a commander type which comes with one of these mega beam launchers. But in the Defensor's case, it's two of them. And yeah, I really liked this kit upon seeing it in Gundam Unicorn, and I had hoped to eventually got it, and I did. And honestly, the Unicorn era has some of my favorite designs and variations of the Federation suits. And I don't think this, when it comes to, I guess, posing, I don't think this is a suit that would lend itself well to such a thing, because the legs are pretty bulky and the feet are, well, they're actually kind of thin and not broad enough where I think a lot of posing can be done with it. And with all the weapons slapped onto it, pretty much making it the grunt equivalent of the Gundam heavy arms, I don't think there's really much you can do. There's if anything, there's some limited posing you can do, like having the missile launchers open and having the guns out, but nothing too extravagant. It's overall a nice model to pose, if anything, but have some limited posing for. Got the little look see-through pieces and stickers on the sides, as well as a lens on in the head. It's like made of clear plastic. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, besides all the launchers and rifles, you got the 2 hyper beam sabers in the back. And yeah, the 2 wing segments right here, they actually spread out and can go back in. And that allows me to fill in all the weapons in there. So it's supposed to be either or, but me personally, I prefer having both. And thankfully, because of that little design right there with the wing parts being able to expand or retract, I was able to figure out how to fit all of them in there. Well, almost. Really, the only thing you can't do all in one is the wing tip parts right here. It's either rocket pod or beam launcher here, with the only exception to this being, of course, the cannons and missiles, and of course the hyper beam sabers. So yeah, that's pretty much the main, I guess you could say, the main thing that I guess is appealing with the Type C. It's a walking weapons platform, and you can slap a lot of stuff onto it. And yeah, I like it. It's well designed, very sturdy. Not the most posable mobile suit in the world, but as a piece of built-up military hardware that's fun to look at and have some limited posability with, I really like it, and I'm glad I was able to finally do it. Months late, unfortunately, but hey, I got it done finally, and I can move on to other mobile suit models, whether it be Gundam or otherwise. And I'm happy to have finally done it, and have it give it the honor of being my first Master Grade Gundam mobile suit to review. And eventually, I'll, depending on what I have, I'll review other model kits of different types. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this one. And I'll either start another kit in a while or go back to the PS4 and stream another game. I'm not sure which. It's up at the air at the moment. But yeah, that'll be all the same. That'll be the first episode in what I call Mecha Reviews. And I'll be back eventually with another one to show off and ultimately say whether I enjoyed it or don't recommend it all. But so far, I do recommend this one wholeheartedly. A lot of parts and a lot of time involved, but it's one that I think is worth it in the end. So yeah, Metal Leviate Alex signing off. See y'all later. Peace out, and we'll hope and be back with another review of these things. Have a good night.